All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Gafford and Brown Show. I am Lamar Gafford,
And I'm Robert Brown.
and we're back on the air once again for our first episode of the new year. Congratulations. And looks like right now we got ourselves some very good news we're going to talk about today. The NFL, the NBA, and mostly the college football scene, and probably pretty much anything else here. But right now we're going to start things off with most of the changes here that's going on in the NFL today. And this is the part of the time where things get crazy. It's called Black Friday, Black Monday, where you've seen a lot of coaches get fired and all that stuff. Um, but right now it looks like Andy Reid is nearing or almost there going to the Chiefs. What do you think about that move, Rob?
I think it's a good move, personnel-wise. From what we're seeing, Andy Reid is going to be in a great position of power. He's going to be the coach, and he's going to have some GM privileges as well. I think it's a good fit because the offense needs help. I don't think Castle will be his quarterback, so I think he's going to find a quarterback as soon as he, if once everything's done. But I would really like to see him in San Diego or Arizona when I saw those reports. But he seems pretty set on taking this Kansas City job. And they have a defense, they have the pieces on offense. They just need someone to orchestrate it. And if anybody can orchestrate a well-run offense, it's Andy Reid.
And I really agree with you on that one too. I mean, we looking at his body of work with the Eagles, he really doesn't get a lot of respect as he really deserves and everything. Five NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl appearance, and that right there just and he doesn't get a lot of respect out of it. Really, what I think is too. I think this is going to be a good move. It is actually a very good division for him to be in because the only team that's actually pretty good right now is the Denver Broncos. Uh, the other teams in that division kind of fighting for that second spot, so he can really do a pretty nice job there. The thing is, I've seen here that they got rid of Scott Pioli, and he actually gets a chance to now. He might have a little bit more of a say. What they're probably gonna have to do, they're probably gonna have to either find a quarterback either in the free agency or in the draft. Who do you think they would probably go after?
If we're talking about free agency, I've heard a lot of people already speculate for him bringing in Vic. I don't think that'll happen just because I don't know. I don't want to say it's a bridge burnt. I just think it's a project that Andy Reid did, and he's gonna leave it in the past.
Hmm.
I could see possibly Alex Smith if he's let go. Maybe the draft. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to have a solid pick, so maybe Matt Berkeley, maybe who knows, Geno Smith, who knows, who they'll take first round. I definitely think they have the pieces. Though they have Jamal Charles, they have McCluster, they have Dwayne Bowe, they have the pieces there for the offense to work well. I just don't see him and Matt Campbell necessarily clicking. Um, but I definitely think he's going to take a quarterback in the draft. He could take what's Kansas State's quarterback?
Colin Klein.
Yeah, he could. I could see him taking Collins Line high. He's a runner. He passes. Well, he's a passer, but he's still developing into an elite passer. So I can see Andy Reid taking him under his wing and showing him the ropes of being an elite quarterback. So there are a lot of options. What do you think, Lamar?
What I really think is that I mean I think they probably obviously they're gonna have to probably take a player in the draft. I really think that they're probably gonna. The problem is though the quarterback class is a little bit weak. Um, I will be a little bit concerned about Matt Barkley because he's coming back from his injury at USC, and Geno Smith has really shown to be a very good quarterback, but nothing about him really says like, well, wow, this guy is like amazing. There have been some point in times where he's actually have had some problems and stuff, And it seemed like he had a very good start of the season, but at the end of the season, he kind of fell off a little bit. So, but I really think that they'll probably take Geno Smith as the chance. As far as the free agency, I mean, they could go after Vic, but I don't know if he would. I don't know if he would actually answer Kansas City that much.
Right, and the thing about Vic is, if you bring him in with Jamal Charles, McCluster, uh, it's going to create a threat. I guess you could take the Washington Redskins blueprint
Mm-hmm.
and try to emulate that there. I can see that working, but what Andy Reid is known for is passing.
Mm-hmm.
And, him and Vic, we've already seen Michael Vick, try to become a pocket passer. Has it worked? Somewhat, but with the offensive line struggles and his turnover ratio, it hasn't gone, as well as some, would think. But I just don't see him bringing in Vic just because of that, that price tag and his age and his dependability on the field because he's injury prone. So, I just don't see him taking that risk again.
And that is a good point right there too, because I don't think Michael Vick has ever played a full season ever since he's been in the league. And like you said, you're taking that chance. If you do get Vick again, you would be taking that chance because really, I mean, you're trying to build up the franchise and stuff. Well, we also have some more other vacancies here too. And it looks like like you mentioned earlier, you got the Chargers. That vacancy is still there. The Arizona Cardinals, they have a vacancy. The Buffalo Bills, Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears, which amazingly they fired Lovie Smith after a 10-6 season. The Cleveland Browns. Which of and help me out here if there's some more that I'm forgetting right now, but which vacancy right now actually looks the most actually looks very good right now? It is more desirable to say the least.
I would definitely say Arizona. Arizona would appeal to me if I'm a head coach, simply because they started the season off 4-0 without a quarterback, basically. Had some keynote wins. Then, once the fact that they didn't have a quarterback get exposed, that's when, the tide changed. But they definitely have the defense in place. They have the franchise player, Larry Fitzgerald. They have Patrick Peterson, who you're facing on the defense. They also have Early Doucette. They have all the pieces there. They just need a quarterback and a coach that can keep that offense clicking. Now, mind you, I like Ken Whisenhunt. I don't think he did necessarily a bad job. It's just the fact that, you're a coach and you have say in certain decisions. Giving Kevin, necessarily, he didn't necessarily, he wasn't alone in making the Kevin Cobb decision, but to give Kevin Cobb that much money, being unproven, not necessarily having a solid backup, he's supposed to be an offensive guru, so it's kind of, head scratching to see their offense just fall apart like that. So I would say Arizona would be an appealing job. San Diego looks nice on paper, but I mean, it's a roller coaster ride every year. I mean, maybe Noah Turner was to blame for that, but who knows? The Cleveland job has potential due to the fact that they're a young team.
Mm-hmm.
They played hard all season, just came up short a lot. I would say the least appealing job to me would be the Philadelphia Eagles because there are so many question marks. So many question marks on defense, offense, there's just a lot going on there. I would really stay away from that job. What about you, Lamar?
I think I would have to agree with you on the Eagles job too, because it almost looks like that Philly might have to do a whole rebuilding job in this case because you're changing away from what has gone on for a long time in Andy Reid, and mind you, he's been there for 14 years. To now, you're gonna have a new regime, and right now it looks like they could go after a college coach They could go after either Chip Kelly. They could go after Brian Kelly. Who knows? They could go after somebody else. That's also one of the things too. It to me that seems like the least desirable one right there. I think if you're going to say it's probably more the most desirable, I might would have to again agree with you on on going to the Arizona Cardinals. I feel like that's only going to be it's pretty much a quick fix right there. What they really need, their thing, what they need is the quarterback. Kevin Cobb is not going to cut it out. John Skelton's not really going to cut it out either. But if they can get that one quarterback, I believe that changes every single thing because we've seen the drop off of what the Cardinals have had ever since Kurt Warner retired. When Kurt Warner was there, this was actually a pretty good team. But you seen what happened now that Kurt Warner he leaves. They really don't. They have the quarterback has been the biggest question mark out there. I would think maybe the Browns' job was probably number 2 on my list because, like you said, it has potential. You got yourself a very good young squad out there, and what they really, I believe if they can get the right coach, a coach that probably can relate to them, maybe a college type coach or something like that, it actually they will actually get a chance to, who knows, they might can compete pretty well in that division. The problem is, though, that division's tough.
You know who they remind me of right now? Like you said, you made a great point about getting a college coach.
Mm-hmm.
They remind me of the Seattle Seahawks right before Pete Carroll got there.
Oh, yeah.
Rebuilding, young team. I can see them getting a player-friendly coach like Pete Carroll, coming there and, giving them that energy.
Oh yeah, and that would be actually a pretty good idea too, because comparing those two situations, they're pretty much kind of the same here. Because if they can get that player friendly type coach, I mean, who knows what they can do? It's a tough division, but I believe that they can actually they can actually try to get themselves at least to a pretty good spot in that division, though.
You look at it. Baltimore is up and down sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh looks like they're closer towards rebuilding. The Bengals are on the rise, but Cleveland has played well against them. Cleveland beat Pittsburgh this year, so there's potential there.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I believe also with San Diego, somebody was saying they're trying to push hard for Lovie Smith actually too.
And I think that would be a good fit. He's a coach that would bring a very strong defensive mind to the team. He's player friendly. He's not intense. He's almost like Norv, except he has a better record, a better track record than me. The man's been to a Super Bowl. He's played with less talent or offensively, than what the Chargers have. The Chargers have if you ask me, a more balanced offensive attack than what he had in Chicago, especially before Cutler, doing those. He took Rick Gross into the Super Bowl with defense. So you put him in San Diego with Phillip Rivers, you got those pieces there. Maybe something can work. Give him some time. He can pull off a winner. I mean, the division's fairly weak, like you said. Other than Denver, every team is rebuilding. So, hey, why not?
And that is the truth right there. Now, also, what also baffled me was one team that did not make a coaching change, and was the Dallas Cowboys. I was actually surprised that Jason Garrett did not get a chance, did not get the boot. Are you quite surprised about that, despite his record?
Honestly, I'm not, because Jerry Jones seems to like this guy, and when Jerry Jones likes you, you have a safe job in Dallas. I think it was Jimmy Jones. It was Jimmy Jones or Barry Switzer that made the comment that Jerry Jones has friends. He makes his friends coaches. It's like a country club, and he likes you. He likes you. When Barry Switzer was there and he won that championship, he had a long reign as Dallas coach, and he was let go. Chan Gailey, a couple other guys had shots. Campo, they were given chances. you had the Parcells era, then Wade Phillips and his, up and down seasons, and now you have Derek given this opportunity. And, he's shown us that he's still learning. He's right now, he looks like an offensive coordinator pretending to be a coach, and it's not working for the best. So we'll see what next year holds. Jones said he's going to get him a new offensive coordinator probably. He almost seems as if he has faith in bringing Romo back. So how do you feel about that? Who should go first? Should Romo go or Garrett go?
I think Garrett should go. Honestly, 100% Garrett should go, because I would think here that most of the Cowboys' problems this season have been dealt with, like, coaching, and I would really feel like that he needs to at least retain from some of the play calling duties, because some of his calls really are too plain to me. Now, as far as Tony Romo, if you get rid of him this season, who are you going to replace him with? You don't have anybody. You really don't have that. Your options are pretty limited as far as the free agency market, and also as far as the draft. So, I have said, I said this before, on this network once before too, that you kind of don't want to get rid of Tony Romo because of that same reason. So I have to say Garrett is probably going to be my unanimous choice of getting rid of.
But if you're being partial to Dallas attack, would you think that seeing Romo play that last game, the mistakes he made, the turnovers, you don't think it's time for a change? Even if the effort is in rebuilding, you don't think it's time for a change? You think Dallas still can win now with Romo, given the fact that, the December woes, the last 2 years, Dallas has had a chance to get into the playoffs by winning the last game and come short due to, just turnovers and just sometimes overall lack of care on the whole team side. But this last game was more so on Romo's shoulders. You don't think it's time for a change?
It's one of those tough things, but I mean I might just have to ride it out. I mean, I know this is sad, as strange as it may sound. I might just would have to ride it out. He had a pretty good December before the game here, but the game just kind of hurt a little bit more. I just have to think about this though. Who are you going to get? You really can't get anybody here in order to really replace him. The free agent class is looking shoddy this year, and as far as the draft class is looking pretty bad. I mean, we're not in the part right now where Peyton Manning is out there in the free agent class, and I would take a chance at Peyton Manning. Really, I'm looking at the free agent class. Other than Michael Vick, really, there's not that many names that jump out in front of me right here. So I guess I would have to just go on and say I probably would go ahead and bite the bullet and just say, hey, we'll have to keep Romo,
Right, and you brought it up. His season wasn't bad necessarily. Yeah, of course he had a few bad games, like every other NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. But he's had a solid December before the Washington game. He had game-winning drives. He's had a solid season. Like you said, it goes to the coaching. It goes to just basically Dallas Cowboys luck lately. Like, the Cowboys have had the worst luck of any premier franchise in the NFL for the last, I'm going to say, 15 years almost.
Right.
It's been very unfortunate, and it's like I don't know. It's almost like you're watching them rebuild almost sometimes, because every year you get your hopes up. Dallas has so much talent that you say, well, this is the year Dallas finally takes that next step, and they show up on that talent, and it just doesn't happen.
And the sad thing is too, I mean, especially with being a fan, it's just the disappointing losses. I mean, I can basically count during the Romo era. I can really count those five bad losses. I mean, this year against Washington, last year against the Giants, we could have had the chance to make it into the playoffs. I think in 2008 against Philadelphia, that was that Week 17 game where we got drummed. I think the playoffs against the Giants in '07, yeah, and the Seahawks game too. I mean, that was just all of those were just bad right there alone here. And the thing is though, with Romo, he continues to show glimmers of hope, but then again, he also continues to show like I don't know, really he kind of breaks under pressure a little bit too, and that's just right there. But like I said, sadly, again, I would have to keep him. I believe the biggest issue though too, what they really need to do, they need to at least try to protect him a little bit more too, and that's kind of a bit of the problem as well. Give him some time to make some throws, stuff like that.
True, true, true. His improv it's high risk, high reward.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he can pull a rabbit out of his hat. Sometimes he can pull a turd out of it. It's really high risk, high reward. It's very risky. I don't know. It's almost it's Romo. It's becoming an adjective now.
Yeah, Romo being Romo, I guess. But hey, you never know. You never know. Well, all right, we're gonna go ahead and take a 30-second commercial break real quick. We'll be back talking about the playoffs, the NFL playoffs. This is the Gafford and Brown Show. We will be right back. All right, we're back with the Gafford and Brown Show. We were just talking about the coaching changes and stuff, but now we're gonna go ahead and talk about the teams that are actually getting the chances to be in the playoffs right now. We got ourselves a very good slate of games here. We got the Cincinnati Bengals and Houston Texans. They kick off things this week. What is your pick on that game, Rob?
Bengals and Texans have all the potential for being either a blowout or upset. And I'm thinking right now I'm leaning more so towards the upset part. I'm just thinking right now Cincinnati's kind of hot. They have, they was there last year against Houston. I just see it being the perfect storm for them to get the upset. If you stop Arian Foster, you kind of stop Houston almost. You make Shaw beat you. The secondary of the Texans has been abused. Even though, people say they're one-dimensional with just A.J. Green, I think, of course, he's going to be double teamed, so he's going to give people other looks, So I'm very skeptical about the Texans right now and their chances of advancing and proving people wrong, but I really don't have that much faith in them. When it comes to Baltimore and the Colts, I really have to give more of the edge to the Colts simply because they're on a roll. They just beat Houston, the team that won that division. They've been underdogs all year. They found ways to come back. Andrew Luck he's the type of quarterback you want because he's not scared to make a mistake. He'll make a mistake and come right back out and throw that same pass. He's not scared of making a mistake, and he's not scared of rectifying that mistake. And the most amazing part is they're doing this without a running game. That's the amazing thing about the Colts. Baltimore, you have to look at Flacco. If he comes out and he's good, he could run Indianapolis off the field. But if he comes out and he has those problems he normally has, it's going to be a long game, especially if they aren't feeding Ray Rice. So I look at the Colts-Baltimore game being close, a 17-14 type of game. Right now, I'm going to give it to the Colts.
And
so basically, I have both of the wild teams winning for the AFC.
And then also the AFC, just to piggyback here too, as far as the Bengals and Texans game, if I were to make my pick, I think here the Bengals being there in that stadium in a playoff game would be a little bit more, they're probably a little bit more prepared for it this year than they are last year. I think last year the whole thing was the Texans. This was their first home game and actually their first playoff game, and so of course their fans were going to be out there. I think this year they're still hoping that they're still thinking that this could be their year despite the slump. But then again, it kind of waned a little bit. But I still probably will give it to the Texans in a pretty closer game than we had in last year. As far as the Colts and the Ravens, it's going to be really sad to see one of these teams have to lose because you know what the Colts have gone through with Chuck Pagano and his cancer, but also Baltimore has the Ray Lewis factor too. Of this might be this is going to be his last playoff run, and it's really going to be sad about that one to see at least one of these teams' season ends. But I think if you were to ask me, I probably would go with the Ravens in this one, though. And pretty much it's going to be a pretty close game. I think the Ravens, they have a little bit more of they have the more experience in this than the Colts. And the Colts, I think this is their first, pretty much their first go round here. So they're pretty happy to be here. I know they want to win, but I think I pretty much going to go ahead and say the Ravens are probably going to win that game.
Right. I totally see where you're coming from. These games can go either way. Like I said, Houston could go out there and just rival Cincinnati, or Cincinnati could pull off the upset, which I'm thinking is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Colts and the Ravens. Like you said, the Ravens are way more experienced. They've been here before, and the Colts are kind of like, they're like the small school in the bowl game. They're kind of happy to be there. But, at the same time, who knows? I just like this Colts team because they have a lot of spunk.
Oh, yeah.
They play hard. Like I said, Andrew Luck, people talk about the fact that he's throwing a lot of interceptions, but the thing about those interceptions, he's not scared to go back out there. Like many young quarterbacks, they get distraught, they get worried, they get frustrated. Andrew Luck shakes it off. He shakes it off and he goes back in the game, and then he makes the game-winning drive. So they're a dangerous team to me. I don't want to play. I don't want my Broncos to see them. So definitely would like for that to be a good game. I think it's going to be close.
Most definitely. And like you said about Andrew Luck too, as far as him not being scared, I mean, hey, the last Indianapolis quarterback did the same thing in his rookie year, and that was Peyton Manning, and he had a lot of interceptions as well. So I believe again they're set for the future too. But I just I can't seem to think that this year is probably going to be their chance of making it though. Let's also take a look at the NFC side as well, where we have two very good games in this one too. The Minnesota Vikings play against the Green Bay Packers in a rematch of Week 17 at 7 o'clock in prime time, and also the Seattle Seahawks and Washington Redskins play against each other on Sunday. Your thoughts about those games?
Well, the Packers Minnesota game, I think it's going to be almost a rout. I think the Packers are going to come out focused. They're going to come out explosive. They're playing the Green Bay. I just see them really coming out to prove a point. Don't get me wrong, Minnesota is a great surprise team. Ponders, evolution, he's growing up in front of us. Last week was one of his best games of his young career. I just don't see him doing it again. Adrian Peterson is Adrian Peterson. You can't stop. Let him get his 100-plus yards, and you still can beat Minnesota, Just let him do him almost. You put 8 in the box, you put the whole team in the box, he's still going to find a way to get a lot of yards. So I just think you have to let him be him. Make Ponder beat you, Make him throw more. Make him, question, make him make him take those long drives down the field. I just don't see them having enough firepower to beat Green Bay in a playoff game. Washington and Seattle, to me, that's the game of the weekend. I think this is going to be a matchup that we're going to remember for a while. You look at Seattle, they're a battle-proven team, great defense. great offense. Team has been putting up like a plethora of points. I just think that this week they might get slowed down a little bit by Washington's defense, but not to the point to where I don't think they'll win. I have Seattle winning. I think it's going to be a close game, 21-24 type of game. RG3 tries to pull it off, comes up short. Just the season's been too perfect almost. So, there has to be a disappointment in there somewhere. I think this is going to be it. I think the Seahawks are going to advance. What about you, Lamar?
Well, let's see. I think here, as far as this Vikings-Packers game, I really think the Packers got this one. Again, they can't stop Adrian Peterson, and no matter how hard they try, they're probably not going to get a chance to stop Adrian Peterson. Yeah, I mean, this guy is pretty much right now, he's on a whole nother level right now, and I don't think he can be stopped. But I really think though that again they're going to have to try to stop. Ponder's going to have to try to beat them, and I don't think he has enough to do that. So I think it's going to be the Packers that get a chance to win that one against the Vikings. I probably would go on and say it'd probably be a close game, but like these two teams normally always have, because they've seen each other twice before, and I believe again they know each other's strengths and they know each other's weaknesses as well. So I think it's going to be the Packers in a pretty close game, maybe like decided by between 7 to 10 points. As far as the Seahawks and the Redskins, again, that's going to be a very good game, like you said, too. And I wish I was actually get a chance to see that one. But I really think I think the Seahawks are going to win this game a lot more in this one, too. Both teams, they have everything that you ask for a team in terms of going ahead and at least doing well in the playoffs, and that's the running game. But I just think here the Seahawks have a better defense, and I think the Seahawks are going to be ready to play, and I think they are coming in a little bit more of a hot streak right now too. So I got the Seahawks in this one. I think that's going to be a very close game between the two rookies, Russell Wilson and RG3.
Right. So it looks like we're in agreement with the NFC pretty much.
Yes, sir, we are. Now, also, here's the thing, too, about the teams that are looking out here that have a bye week, too. Which team do you think might have the opportunity of possibly getting upset in the division round, depending on, who gets a chance to actually advance in the wild card round?
Okay, give me the scenarios of each wild card weekend game.
Okay. So let's say here we got we got Denver. They're gonna be playing against they're gonna be playing against the worst team that advances, and we got New England who's gonna be playing against the best team, and also we got Atlanta's gonna be playing against the worst team that advances in the NFC, and we got San Francisco that plays against the best team. And I think by the terms of our picking games here, it looks like San Francisco is going to be playing against Green Bay, and I think Atlanta's going to be playing against Seattle, while I think here it looks like Denver might be playing against either Cincinnati, Indianapolis, or Baltimore, and New England's going to be either playing against Houston, Indianapolis, or Baltimore in that case.
Right. Wow, that's tough. I'm pretty sure if the Texans get past Cincinnati, they're going to want their revenge against New England. However, I just think once you beat somebody as bad as New England beat the Texans, I just think you're going to have to wait till next year to get your revenge, because they have their number. Mm-hmm. I think they have their number. I think they're going to, if the Texans make it past Cincinnati, I think they're going to lose again. Denver, on the other hand, going to Mile High is never easy. I know the Colts are going there would be a great story. Media will love it either, but I don't think that matchup would help Indianapolis at all. Just just because I think Denver's defense is too good right now and their offense is clicking too well. I think the best matchup for Denver would be Baltimore, maybe. That would be a good game. I see Denver winning still, but that would be, something, it would be closer than the other two teams that are going. We look at the NFC side. Seattle Seahawks have all the tools, all the momentum to beat the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, the Falcons are a team that nobody believes in right now. Yeah, they had a great season. They have a lot of talent, but looking at the past 2 years in the playoffs, it's been depressing. And I just think that no one believes in them, and I think Seattle is just, they're riding their underdog momentum. They're riding their wave. And I think they have all the necessary things to beat Atlanta. San Francisco, Green Bay, man, that's going to be a classic in the making right there. I think Green Bay, I'm giving Green Bay the edge right now, but San Fran's definitely not going to lay down. It's going to be a hard-hitting game. I give Green Bay the edge only because of the quarterback. I trust Aaron Rodgers more than Kaepernick. He's a great guy, but great athlete. But I just think it's going to be his first playoff game. And that's a lot of pressure to put on the kid. I give the edge to Green Bay. What about you?
I would have to pretty much say the same. I'm probably going to go ahead and say the Falcons are probably going to be the team that's a little bit more vulnerable in this case. I think they have a chance to probably win, but then again, I would be concerned. I think here they have shown a little bit of problems with defending the run, and the problem is though they're guaranteed to play against a team that's in the top 3 as far as running the football, whether it be Seattle, whether it be Washington, or whether it be Minnesota. They have had some problems in terms of that. So I would be pretty concerned if I were a Falcons fan in this case too. And because a lot is riding on you. You're trying to at least get yourself into the playoffs. You're trying to get yourself at least a win in the playoffs. And that's always gonna be pretty tough in that case too. The team that I really think that probably has a good chance of possibly moving on to the next round in terms of the ones that have a bye. I really think that Denver has a pretty good chance, and I'm not gonna call them a lock yet, but I really think they have a pretty good chance of at least making it. Of at least getting to the AFC Championship game. And I think they're actually going to be one of my Super Bowl teams here, too. I think it's either going to be them and probably San Francisco, maybe.
Right. And right now, I think a lot of us are looking forward to basically seeing Denver and New England in the AFC title game.
Oh, yes.
Right. It's not sure, we never know how these things are going to go out. But right now, those are the two favorites. The NFC side is a little bit more unpredictable because, a lot of these teams have seen each other before. A lot of them, there's more room for upsets in the NFC to me, especially when you have a team as questionable as the Falcons, playing in the divisional round. And then you have San Francisco, a great team, great coach, but they have a young quarterback now. Alex Smith is the backup. So, the young guy is going to have to show and prove. And, it's a great playoff season. It's great to see these young quarterbacks emerge as, get a chance to, make a statement and show that they're not flashes in the pan.
Yeah, and that's always the good thing too, because we looked at it last year when we saw actually the Texans and Bengals matchup between T.J. Yates and Andy Dalton, which was the first time that we seen two rookies play against each other in the playoffs. I have a feeling that this year's Robert Griffin and Russell Wilson matchup is probably going to be even better because these two have wowed us this year, and it looks like this might have a very good effect here between these two teams because they both play pretty well and stuff.
Right. So, just looking at it, I know it's early, but
Mm-hmm.
give me your premature Super Bowl pick.
My premature Super Bowl pick. I think we're gonna go ahead and say I said Denver against San Francisco. I really think Denver is probably gonna get the chance to win in the Super Bowl. That's my prediction for right now. You?
I want to see Denver and Green Bay. I
Okay.
want to see that matchup. I think that would be a great Super Bowl, and I give the edge to Denver.
All right. Well, it looks like it's set, and we'll see what happens here going on to the playoffs as well, too. Because hey, you never know how might shake out. Who knows what could happen? We might have some upsets along the way as well. So we'll be right back again with the Gafford and Brown Show. We'll take another 30-second break. Again, we'll get you back caught up with the I guess the NCAA right away. So we'll be back. All right, we're right back again with the Gafford and Brown Show with our NFL segment underway. Once again, I'm just telling you again too, if you ever want to make a comment on the show, there's the comment box on the bottom right corner of your screen. You can drop a comment, drop a line, anything else like that. You can also drop a comment on our Twitter accounts, Primetime2832 or Uptown Bobby. And also you can either leave us a message on Skype as well if you want to lend your voice on the show too. So once again, we just hope that our fans, continue to once again support us and also give us some good feedback as well. Right now we're going to be talking about the NCAA football. We're nearing that national championship game between Alabama and Notre Dame. Both teams have now made it to Miami, and they're actually making their final preparations in order for that game as well. Once again, let's give us our last prediction pretty much of that game. Who do you think is going to win that game, Rob?
Well, originally I said Alabama. Still sticking with Alabama. But after a few of these bowl games, I'm getting nervous about my faith in the SEC because, man, we've seen some upsets. And how perfect would it be for Notre Dame to go into Miami and get the upset against Nick Saban and Alabama? On paper, these teams are, they're both not seeing things the other team does well. For instance, I don't think Bama has seen a defense as unorthodox and fast as Notre Dame, and I don't think Notre Dame has seen the offensive line as big and strong and overpowering as Alabama. I think quarterback play is what's going to win this game. McCarron definitely looks like he's the wiser of the two. He's been here before. I think it's going to come down to whoever makes the less turnovers. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think it's going to be a 14-10 type of game. What about you, Lamar?
I'm probably going to have to go with the same thing. I'm actually going to say Notre Dame is going to win this game because I really think that it is their time. It's kind of their destiny as well, too, in order to get themselves right back into the upper echelon of college football after being down for so many years. We're gonna really see ourselves a pretty good game here too, because we got ourselves two good defenses that only average. Let's see, Notre Dame only has given up 10.3 points a game, and Bama's given up I think 10.7. And in terms of yardage, Alabama, we've seen how good they are in terms of that there too. It really depends though here. Notre Dame is going to have to really get hot. I really think if they can control the ball, and that's going to be the main case here. Whoever controls the ball, whoever does very well in controlling the ball a little bit more in terms of time of possession and in terms of holding turnovers and stuff like that, going to get the chance to win that game. So but I think Notre Dame has a good chance of winning this game, and I have to go with them.
Right, and it's not at all. Picking Notre Dame is not at all a bad decision at all. Especially given the amount of upsets we've had this bowl season involving the SEC. You know, Definitely. This seems like if there was any year for the SEC, streak of winning national titles to end, it seems like it would be this year.
Mm-hmm.
Just from what we've seen with Louisville dominating Florida, Clemson coming from behind, beating LSU, South Carolina barely walking away against Michigan, Georgia and Nebraska in a dogfight. It just seems as if this might be the year where the SEC finally relinquishes its stranglehold, over the national championship and the national stage when it comes to college football.
Yeah, and a lot of people could pretty much have said though too. It looks like it had been a little bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of a down. Well, it by the looks of how the SEC had done this year in terms of the rankings and stuff. You had a lot of teams that came into there. I think the SEC had about 6 teams that were in the top 10, and kind of to see them all falter a little bit and struggle a little bit, it makes you a little bit uneasy about how it is too. So we'll have to really see about that though, too. And pretty much to get off topic for a little bit too. What did you think about that Jadeveon Clowney hit? Did you get a chance to see that one?
Oh, what was it more?
That Jadeveon Clowney hit.
I didn't see it in real
Oh
time,
man.
but I got to see the highlights.
Uh huh.
And man, that was pretty intense.
I tell you what, this guy is probably going to be a pretty good player in terms of the 2014 draft. And that guy, I mean, my goodness, it just seemed like you had it was New Year's Day and you already had the hit of the year.
Right.
My goodness, it seemed like I've seen some of these other bowl games here too. After that, it seemed like that hit kind of raised up everybody else's expectations for a hit as well too.
Yeah, it definitely set the tone. Definitely set the tone. And man, just talking about bowl games last night, Oregon and Kansas State. Speed really does kill. I mean, goodness, Oregon just looked. It looked like an NFL team playing a college team almost, with the way Oregon was just so fast.
Oh yes, Oregon. I mean, my goodness, this is basically what their specialty is here too. Oregon just scored quickly right away after DeAnthony Thomas's kickoff return, and then he also had another touchdown. I mean, I said this, I think, on Twitter. Oregon's fast is faster than your fast, and it sure really looked like it. Because my goodness, I mean, they just were blazing in that game.
Right, and that defense, a defense which doesn't get recognized as much, did a great job of containing Colin Klein.
And that they did, because I'm looking at it right now, but I mean, you saw a little bit here where Kansas State almost did look like they were actually going to try to make it a game in the second quarter, but really Oregon had nothing much of that. And looking at it right here, Kansas State had 2 turnovers, they threw 2 picks, and I think they were held down to 283 yards. And pretty much Chip Kelly's game plan was a good one right there in this game, and he set the tone pretty much from start to finish in this one. And he, I mean, I only thing I wish that I wish this was kind of like the national championship game, but it maybe if it didn't have that feel, I don't know, but Oregon really set the tone in this one, and you would really hope that Chip Kelly gets a chance to stay there in Oregon too.
Right, and right now, it looks like, to me at least, that was his last game in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think he's going to the NFL. What team, I don't know. We talked about the Philly job not being a desirable place, but with the speed Philly has, you know, with Deshaun Jackson, Macklin, Bryce Brown, McCoy, I see him going to Philly and trying to implement the Oregon style of play with that offense.
He could really do pretty well up there too, because and the bad thing is they won't have Michael Vick, because I have a feeling that he's going to be gone though. But
yeah,
they
that's definitely the bad part. But I can see him definitely implementing the Oregon system into Philadelphia's offense.
Oh yeah, that then I mean I have a good feeling that he could. I mean he could go there. He could really make that one work pretty much too. And hey, if this was his last game up there at Oregon, then hell, hey, that was a heck of a way to really go out in style. And this guy has been to 4 straight BCS games in his years as a coach, and that's really says to me really that that's been very impressive, and he's really done pretty well up there in Oregon as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also, in terms of a bowl game too, I got a chance to see the Independence Bowl, and unfortunately, even though ULM lost that game, it was still a pretty good game though against Ohio. We got drummed in that one, 45-14, but just seeing the experience of the whole thing, it just was so great.
Right, and that's definitely an experience, you know, that you're always going to remember. Always good to see, you know, your alma mater play, you know, your hometown. You know, not many people can say that in a bowl game. You know, even though it was a losing effort, you know, them are still, you know, headed in the right direction. They still have a great coach. You know, they have a good recruiting class. You know, we're looking at. They might be back next year. You know,
And I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling of that one too, because Colton Browning is at least going to be coming back for his senior year, and you know he's going to take that experience that he learned this year. I mean, it's just been overall for ULM. It's been a good season for the team. I mean, you beat an SEC school in Arkansas. You almost beat another one in Auburn. You just had a good year all around, and once again, I believe that experience is going to be pretty good for this time for next season as well. First game is against Oklahoma. I don't know if they're going to beat them. I hope they do, but then again, even if they play very close to them, that's also going to be a pretty good showing in this one too.
right. Definitely going to be good. Definitely going to help the school. Well, how was the turnout during the game?
They said the turnout was about 41 and a half, I think 41,000 people, and it looked like a little bit between, I would say probably 35 to 40,000. I would think the cold weather kind of turned people away a little bit because, you know, because it was pretty cold. I don't think it got above 45 that day, and it was pretty cold. It was pretty windy, and it also was a little rainy that day too. But in terms of everything, I think the turnout was pretty decent. Turnout was pretty decent. Sadly, like we said, had ULM stayed in the game a little bit more, most of the fans wouldn't have fouled out, and I think I was one of the few too that fouled out as well. But again, it was a great experience for everybody. We had some people from Ohio actually that got a chance to make it to the game too. So, I mean, props to them as well.
Right. Yeah, sounds like a great turnout.
But also, in terms of the bowl game too, and like we said a little bit earlier as well, and again, sadly for you Gators that they lost to Louisville. But my question for you is, um, do you think Teddy Bridgewater might actually become a pretty much of a household name and might actually uh, do pretty well next season in order to, I guess, to get himself a high pick in the 2014 draft?
I think so. You know, I'll be honest. I haven't seen much like, you know, many other people. I haven't seen much Louisville football this year until that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the BDs isn't really a football conference per se. We watch them more in the spring than we do in the fall.
Right.
And Louisville has had a solid program, for the past, I would say, 5 years, with Bobby Petrino and there's been groundwork laid. But, to see them perform that well against an SEC opponent, basically it's an opposite team, and then the performance he put on was, astounding, seeing what he's capable of doing. And he's coming back next year, so yeah, definitely, you're right. If anything, I say he's a name you can enter in the Heisman race for early on. Because you look at the conference, and it's not necessarily the hardest in the country. Mm-hmm. So, Louisville can easily be right back in the BCS bowl game next year.
Yeah.
Charlie Strong, man, I told people this. I really wish he was our head coach. I really wish Florida gave him that job, man. And it's sad and happy all at once, because you definitely want to see him do well, because he's a great coach. Should have gotten a chance in the SEC, but of course there were rumors due to why he didn't get that job. You have to see him do well at Louisville, and this is going to only help him in his name, because the coaching business is competitive, and I don't want to say he's going to leave Louisville high and dry, but there's going to be an opportunity that comes along that he won't pass up, and he's probably going to leave. But right now, he's building a great program.
And I have to agree with you on that one, because it looks like Louisville's pretty much on the right track here. That game right there, not too many people really expected Louisville to win that game. Many people, I'm pretty sure that we probably said it ourselves on this show, that this was probably going to be Florida. They were probably going to run away with this game against Louisville. And sadly, Louisville just said, well, not so fast. Louisville really set themselves a pretty good blueprint for them. I believe that this next year is going to be their last year in the Big East. They're going to go to the ACC next year, in 2014. So they really kind of have got some momentum going along in that way too. So, but in terms of them in the Big East, really I don't see anybody that really stands out to be a tough team here for them. Let's see, I think you got Rutgers, Houston,
Syracuse.
Really, and I think Syracuse is even leaving that next year too.
Oh yeah, they're going to the ACC, yeah. Yeah, definitely not that much. Is Connecticut still there?
UConn, yes, UConn's still going to be there.
West Virginia.
Out there in the Big 12.
Oh, yeah, right. Conference alignments, man.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I hate these. That's the reason why I hate these. And actually, in terms of the Big East too, I'm kind of glad that Boise State actually will get a chance to stay in the Mountain West as well. They said they initially had said they wanted to go to the Big East, and they decided not to. And I feel like that's actually a very good move for Boise. Would you say?
Right. I think it's a good move. I thought the Big East would be a conference where they'll be able to, be able to dominate, but I can't blame them for doing it. Going back, they had a pretty good win this bowl season as well. They're going to be back in the talk, being a contender.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when this new playoff format comes into play, they'll get a chance to one day play for a national title.
And I hope that's really the case too, because man, I still could just think of 2010 if Kyle Brosman, if he didn't miss that kick, man, it could have been them against either Auburn or Oregon in the national championship game, and can you imagine how amazing that would have been right there if they would have got a chance to pull that off, Well, all right, we'll get a chance to go back. We'll take another little bit of a commercial break right away. We're going to talk about the NBA real quick. We're going to talk about the All-Star game, and we're also going to talk about the teams up there too, Teams looking pretty good as well. We'll be right back in 30 seconds with the Gafford and Brown Show. All right, we're right back here once again with the Gafford and Brown Show. Uh, Now it's time for us to really talk about the NBA here. And looking at it right now, we got the All Star game is pretty much the big thing here, too. And we got ourselves our third returns of the All Star ballot. Uh, as a lot of people might have predicted here, that Kobe Bryant and LeBron James are fighting neck and neck for that All Star ballot and vote here. As of right now, they've done away with pretty much the center position, and it's now front court and back court, where you got the top three front court players gets become starters in the All Star game, and the top two are starters in the back court. It looks like we got for the East right now. It looks like LeBron, Melo, and Kevin Garnett will join Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo as starters, and in the West we got KD, Dwight Howard, Blake Griffin joining Kobe and Chris Paul in terms of the West. What do you think about how the balloting is going so far?
Sounds perfect. I mean, you get the past, the present, and the future in all of those lineups. Great to see Kevin Garnett in the All-Star game as a starter. Two Celtics they got in. Kind of wish my boy Russell Westbrook got some love in the starting spot, but it's the Chris Paul, so you can't complain too much. I'm sure he'll be a reserve. It pretty much went business as usual. With the backcourt, Dwayne Wade, he's probably gonna be a reserve. He's starting, isn't he?
Yeah. Dwayne Wade is right now projected to be a starter.
Yeah, he's gonna be a starter. I really would like to see Kyrie Irving get some love. He's had a great season. Hope he's a reserve. But I have no problems with the starting lineups. Like I said, business as usual. Sounds about right. You make a valid case for all those guys that they deserve to be all starters. What about you, Lamar?
I really got to say the same thing, and basically here once again the NBA really gets it right in terms of the All-Star game, because the whole pageantry of it is always so good, and I hope one of these days I actually get a chance to see it, but I really can't go in. I really can't. I don't have anything wrong about this here. Again, I think the fans get it right pretty much, and you got your naysayers like Charles Barkley, who thinks that the fans really shouldn't vote for the starters. I really think the fans should vote for the starters. At least you let the coaches and everybody else do the reserve part. Once again, it's just again, you got players that you want to see. I mean, people want to see LeBron. People want to see Kobe Bryant in there. People also want to see Dwight Howard in there too. So again, I have a good feeling that with all of this, you're gonna have yourself a very good a pretty good All-Star game, and I have a good feeling the starters actually are pretty much. I would vote for these starters any time of the week too.
Right, it's pretty much a lot. I'm pretty sure the reserves are going to be a lot interesting, because you got a lot of guys that are playing well. I think two Warriors should definitely make the team. I think David Lee and Steph Curry should make the team. You look at Russell Westbrook; he's having a great season. He should be a reserve. DeAndre Jordan has made strides. I mean, you can make an argument for him. Also, James Harden is going to play. James Harden, you really could make the case that James Harden deserves to be a starter.
Mm-hmm. Right now, James Harden is looking like he's in fourth place actually in that backcourt list with 337,000 votes. He's actually behind Jeremy Lin.
Wow, he shouldn't be behind. He should definitely not be behind Lin. But you look at the season the Knicks are having as well, and I think J.R. Smith deserves some love, man. He is evolving in front of us. I remember when he was with the Denver Nuggets, he was just a jumper and a spot three shooter. Now he's an all-around player, and it's amazing to see his growth. We'd love to see J.R. Smith in the All-Star game. Kyrie Irving, he deserves a chance to to be on that stage. You look at guys like Brandon Jennings having a great season in Milwaukee. There's just there's a lot of talent right now that really, you can make an argument for being in the All-Star game.
Oh yeah, and I had to add one other name on that list too, and I've seen a lot of people really said about who they think really should be pretty much a starting or at least a player in the All-Star game. I gotta say Drew Holiday. This guy's really actually done very well, despite them not having Andre Iguodala. He's really improved his game a whole lot. He's scoring 18.8 points a game. He has 9 assists as well. I had to really make a case for him to get some All-Star love as well too, because he's playing a very good game. Like you said about J.R. Smith though, it's been amazing about his transformation of him too. It seems like he's really finally matured a little bit more, and I really wanted to see that out of J.R. Smith too. The guy's taking a little bit some better shots in the most cases too, and he's scoring, let's see, 16.6 points a game here this year too. I mean, he's doing a nice job this year.
Right. It's just more about his growth, like you said. I think him going to China definitely helped. Doing the lockout helped him improve his game, helped him, get more in tune with himself. And you look at him now, he's a different player from his Denver days.
Yes, exactly. And like you said, he's matured. It seems like, and again, he's always going to be that interesting person. Because, I mean, I've seen his Twitter feed a whole lot, and this guy is actually a pretty interesting guy. But, once again, it seems like, again, he's pretty good. Again, he's really improving. He's doing pretty well, too. Let's talk about the slate, basically, from tonight's games, too. And actually, we have ourselves 2 games that really jump out in front of us. We got a game. ESPN has the games tonight. They have... the Heat, they have to travel to Miami to play. Not what am I saying? The Bulls have to travel to Miami to play against the Heat, so to say the least. I got a little bit tongue tied. I'm sorry about that. And then also, ESPN has the Battle of LA later at 9 at the late cap. What do you think about those 2 games, Rob?
Oh man, I just gotta say this. I don't want to see the Bulls play until Derrick Rose is back. I do not want to see the Bulls play until Derrick Rose. After that Christmas game where Houston just demolished them, I don't want to see them play until Derrick Rose is back or until the playoffs. I mean, they're a solid team.
Oh yeah.
A lot of good role players, but I just don't want to see them play until Derrick Rose is back and they have more of an offensive identity.
Yeah, and that's the truth right there too. And I'm very interested to see what's going to happen when Rose comes back. I really think Miami has this game, and they might walk away with this game in this one. You would think again the Bulls, they'll probably pull up a good fight, but I think Miami has this. Yeah, they're probably going to win this game by at least 10 points. I'm not going to say a blowout exactly, but they're going to win this game like that. In terms of the Battle of LA, it's also going to be a pretty interesting one too, because you got the Clippers after winning 17 in a row. They've lost their last 2 games, and then they host the Lakers in this one too, where it seems like the Lakers are starting to come back a little bit more after getting Steve Nash.
Right, and you know what? I'm going on a limb here, and tonight this is totally against me, but I'm giving this one to the Lakers. I think they're hotter, that they're getting hot. Nash is definitely proven that he's what they've been missing, and I just think that there's been so much hype about the Clippers that I think LA, they're going to come out motivated, and I think they're going to win this game. It's not going to be easy. I could see this going to overtime easily.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these teams look good on paper, during the preseason, but right now the Clippers have been the ones that actually, turn their potential into, what we want to see on paper. And this is definitely going to be a good game. I'm giving the edge to the Lakers tonight just because, every dog has his day. And I think the Lakers are going to have the night, and I think they're going to come out and they're going to win. But they're playing with the back against the wall almost,
Mm-hmm.
We'll be kicking the ball to either, the turmoil, the coaches, the Dwight Howard saga. I think right now is where they meet the turning point and, finally start going in the right direction to close out season, for all break.
Yeah, and I had to. I'm probably will be able to really say the Lakers too. I think they've really improved a whole lot since Steve Nash has came back into the lineup, and for good reason. Steve Nash will at least organize things a little bit more, as because he's that type of point guard right there too, and that's what they needed, a little bit of organization. Uh, the Clippers' run has been very good though. I have to say this: them winning 17 in a row and having the best record in the NBA at one point in the time too was just like amazing. And for a franchise that really has seen so much of bad days and good days and stuff, that was a pretty good one right there too. So both of these teams come through with their own adversity, but I really think the Lakers are probably going to make themselves get themselves to at least 500 and win this game tonight.
Right. This is definitely not going to be their last matchup, with them being division rivals. So
oh no,
it's definitely going to add on to the rivalry and the big brother little brother relationship. It's going to be a good game. Definitely game of the night.
and most definitely. And once again, it looks like, like you said, it's going to be a very interesting ball night and stuff like that too. Actually, just reading through some news right now here, and I just seen one thing that really jumped out in front of me here. It's about David Stern. He was saying that there will be NBA teams in Europe in at least 20 years for sure. What do you think about that, Rob?
I will give him this. Unlike Roger Goodell, who keeps trying to force the NFL game to be international, David Stern has done a great job of making it international. Now, an NBA team, no. An NBA, like something like the NBDL in Europe, yes, I can see that happening. But not a team, no. Just the flying, the travel, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Too much. And it's just, oh no, I just don't see it happening. Maybe something where you have a league, like a developmental league almost, and you send American players there, and they play, maybe you have a title game against the NBDL versus the NBA Europe champion or whatever, who knows? But I just don't see the team thing happening. Who knows? So.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one too. The travel's going to be bad. Really, the travel is going to be tough, really. And even if you have one division of just consistently of European teams, I mean, they still got to travel here, and we got to travel there, and it's gonna be hectic. I'm actually for you on that league thing. Make it something like the NFL Europe, like how they did. During the off season, you can get some players that really haven't gotten a chance to get some experience and stuff like that. You can actually put them over there. Let them get a chance to at least experience something. Scout them, all that different type of stuff. You never know. You might find that diamond in the rough too, and that I think that's a really good idea for that one, Rob. And I mean, and that would be something that I really would be for too. Also, I think if you have it like as a preseason exhibition game, maybe we could like schedule something like, the defending NBA champion against the defending champion over in Europe as well. I mean, that might be a good idea, but and as far as a team, I can't really get down with that. Even though David Stern has done a great job of making the game international, and he's had some very good international players and stuff too. I can't really get down with the team. I mean, I'm sorry about that, but I really can't get down with that team.
Right. And the Canada experiment, the Canada experiment should be enough to show David Stern that this is something that needs to take its time, because we went from having 2 teams in Canada to 1, and it's still a struggle keeping all 12 players in Toronto. Because it's Canada. Many of the league's best players come from inner cities.
Yes.
So once you see an inner city superstar, whatever, and you take them to a foreign place like Canada, it's going to take time to adjust and adapt, and having to see family and things of that nature. It's going to be hard, even with advanced travel today. So,
right.
Right.
I mean, and as far as Canada is concerned, and like I say, I'm happy. I'm happy to really see that about. I'm really happy to see a team that they have a team in Canada at least, too. But from the other aspect though, too, you got to also look in from the players. It's kind of looking like like you said, travel. You got to get the family in and stuff, and sometimes, especially during this time of your season too, it's cold, and that's also another thing too. And it seems nice though. It seems nice, and I would just have it only at Canada, and that would be it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I would try Mexico. I don't know, but
that idea I could maybe Puerto Rico.
Yes. Now those ideas, I think those ideas would work a little bit more, because the travel wouldn't be so much, and it wouldn't be so taxing on the players and stuff. But as far as Europe, I mean, you're talking about having to adjust the time zones and stuff, and having to it's asking a whole lot out of players as well, and I really can't get down with that, to be honest with you, on that one too.
Right. I mean, it's something that sounds nice. It's one of those things where you say just to build the league almost, to make the image more. It's just something to say, because you always want to grow. And I guess the next logical growth of the NBA will be to expand overseas. But, with the heavy rotation of foreign players the NBA gets, the Olympics, the World NBA tournament, I mean the World Games tournament, just things of that nature. Players going overseas constantly. I don't think you need a team there. It's just a talk, really. Because the game has grown tremendously within the last 20 plus years under David Stern's watch. So I just think it's loose talk.
Yeah, it is. I think that's basically what it is right now. It's just talk. I don't think people really should get worried about it right now. It's just pretty much speculation and everything. So, hey, you never know. Who knows what might happen and stuff. But hey, I guess pretty much that pretty much would be it right there. Looking at some more news here and stuff, as we could just go ahead and almost get ready to wrap up the show. It looks like the Super Bowl halftime show is starting to get back to a little bit more of a current form. It seems like Beyonce is going to be actually the Super Bowl performing at halftime in the Super Bowl. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, definitely going to be watching that. I can't lie. For the last couple of years, I have changed the channel during halftime. The Who and the Rolling Stones and just. Black Eyed Peas. It's been, ever since that whole Janet Jackson fiasco, it's been some question mark from the halftime entertainment. But when you get a name like Beyonce, somebody on that level of superstardom, you're gonna have more people watch. So maybe they'll, open up the doors for more bigger artists to perform during halftime. So we'll see. But I'm definitely watching this halftime. You?
Oh man, yeah, me most definitely too. I'm glad that they saw the error of their ways pretty much. I mean, they don't necessarily have to be conservative, and I understand the feeling about that. But then again, you don't really have to take away from being, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean, being getting a current person doesn't necessarily mean is everything's risque. That's basically right there what I needed to say too. I believe the only halftime show I really paid attention to was the one that Prince was in, and that was about it. And as far as all the other ones, they've been more misses than hits. So I'm glad that they got at least something back that at least somebody we can relate to. Let's see what else do we have here too. I forgot to even mention this once before too, but it seems like the New Orleans Hornets might also be turning into the Pelicans. I know that's from far back too, but what do you think? What did you think about that one too?
Yeah, I've heard people bash the name and say it's whack and et cetera, et cetera. I like it. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. It's better than you know. I mean, names take time to catch on. I'm pretty sure when Minnesota was first called the Lakers, a lot of people wasn't just jumping up for joy.
Hmm.
Um, some teams have odd. Teams in general have the Cleveland Browns. I mean, it's a name that just it grows with you over time. So it'll grow. People will start to like it. People come up with nicknames.
Hmm.
Things of that nature. I didn't like the Bobcats name, but hey, that's what they are, the Bobcats. So
And
it's
I
one of
was,
those things, man.
yeah, I was a little bit one of those people that was a little bit skeptical until a friend of mine actually showed me how the logo was gonna look. And I seen the proposed logo, and the logo really looks like it's very nice. And also, I believe if I want to say here, I think New Orleans had a team called the Pelicans that was a minor league baseball team. So at least you get a chance to harken back a little bit to the past. And also, hey, Louisiana's also named the Pelican State, so that's Louisiana State bird, and at least they got a chance to at least you harken back to tradition and history and all that. So I guess I kind of have no problem with it either. So that's pretty much the case as well. Another thing here, I also saw too about the NHL. They're still under the lockout. They're still trying to iron out some details and stuff. But it looks like unless the resolvement is, I think, let's see, January the 10th, then there could be the possibility that the NHL season might be gone. Your thoughts about that one?
Yeah, like we talked about this before, and it's unfortunate because the NBA lockout from a while back brought a lot of new fans to hockey. Yeah, it brought me into the game. And I was always a casual hockey fan, but with no basketball, I definitely got more into it. I watched the Kings. They're a really good team. Watching the Red Wings. You have diehard hockey fans up there,
Oh
and to
yes.
see them, not have their fix of hockey, professional hockey, it hurts because I know how I was during the lockout. I'm a huge NBA fan, and I was kind of, pretty much distraught that we weren't getting the games, we weren't getting the storylines that we wanted to see. And it's just one of those things, man. It's very unfortunate for the fans, for the players, for the sport overall, because hockey is one of those things we make fun about it and talk about it and say no one watches it, no one
Hmm.
cares, but there's a large amount of people that do care,
Oh yes.
and it's one of those staples. You think about the Wayne Gretzky's, the the Penguins, just the franchises, the legacy hockey has.
And once again it has so much tradition. It's one of the oldest leagues. It's even older than well, it's not older than baseball, but I know it's older than the NHL. I mean, not the NFL and the NBA. And you got a lot of diehard hockey fans, and again, I watch it during the playoffs, and I really like how everything is. And I try to catch a game or two during the season as well. And again, you got people's livelihoods and stuff. And it's not just the players, but you also got fans that really want to see the games, and also you got workers that also want to see the games too. Uh, it kind of reminds me going back all the way into what if the NFL had a lockout, and if games would have been cut short of that, and that would have been even a bad thing right there too, because everybody loves to see their football. So I guess it kind of reminds me of what Ray Lewis has said too about the lockout and about the NFL lockout, and I won't go to that far of an extreme, but you got people's livelihoods and stuff too, and it's sad to really see the NHL having to go through this, man. It really does, it really is. But yeah, so basically we are going to call it the break here for the show here. Um, Once again, it was another great show. We'll try to be back next week. It seems like my schedule is free. How about yours, Rob?
Right now, we're definitely looking towards probably a Monday time. Definitely can do it Monday. Go over the playoff games and all of that, and do a preview of the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Could do a 2-for-1 show. It could give people 2-for-1 that week. Why not? Maybe a Monday and Wednesday show.
That'll work for me, man.
The one doing, Monday we review the playoff games and review, previews Alabama Notre Dame matchup. And Wednesday we come back with our review of Alabama and Notre Dame and our preview for the divisional round.
That will work exactly for me here, and I guess that'll work for you too. And I guess that'll probably work for most of our people that's actually getting a chance to watch the show too. So, hey, I'm down with that, man.
Right.
Well, all right. Until then, we will be we're basically saying adios and goodbye. Uh, this is Lamar Gafford,
This is Robert Brown.
and this is again another great episode of the Gafford and Brown Show, and we are signing out.